Hello, and welcome back to INTERTAX Learning. Today, we'll be discussing how AI is reshaping tax and what it still can do. What I'm about to share might be new to you because it's entirely based on my own experience in tax and accounting. AI is transforming every industry, and tax is no exception. But the real story is more nuanced. It's about data, investment, and understanding which parts of tax can be AI-driven and which parts remain fundamentally human. When people talk about AI in tax, they often imagine full automation. But the truth is, AI is only as good as the data it receives. You've probably heard the phrase, garbage in, garbage out. And in tax, data quality is the first bottleneck. Tax data is often imperfect, inconsistent, or scattered across multiple systems. You might have one set of numbers in the ERP, another in a spreadsheet, and a third buried in an email chain. AI can't automate chaos. It needs clean, structured, standardized inputs. If you've used INTERTAX as a tool, you would understand what I mean. Many organizations haven't invested in fixing their data foundation. And to be clear, I'm talking about tax-relevant data, not sales data that companies already treat as a core focus. So why is tax data inaccurate? Sometimes it's because of budget constraints, sometimes legacy systems, sometimes people's habit. Sometimes no one wants to be the first one to tackle the mess. People just want to get by. Unless leadership prioritizes tax data, the bottleneck can last for years. So while AI can automate a large portion of tax work, it can only do so when the underlying data is ready, and for most companies, that's still a work in process. For now, many of us only use AI in a capacity that assists a small part of our work. The next thing to understand is who is actually driving AI adoption in tax. Right now, it's the firms, especially the Big Four. They have the budgets, the talent, and the incentive to experiment early. They're building tools, tax engines, and AI-assisted workflows. They are redesigning compliance, documentation, and research process. They are at the forefront, and they package these tools with implementation services for clients. And honestly, for companies, this is the safest way to introduce change in tax or accounting. So when we talk about AI reshaping tax, the shift mostly isn't starting inside the company. It's starting with the firms that support them. They're setting the pace for what the future of tax work will look like. Now, let's talk about international tax, because this is when things get more complex. Here, the challenge isn't just data quality. International tax is not a checklist. It's a strategic discipline. It requires understanding business models, supply chains, entity structures, treaties, elections, tax authorities, cross-border interactions, you name it. The list goes on. It requires judgment, context, and the ability to connect moving parts. AI today is excellent at answering one question at a time, but international tax rarely work like that. Think about a weekday when you're juggling chores, your 9-to-5 job, and caring for family. You're the only one who knows how to sequence everything and squeeze everything in. You can't always explain why you do things in a certain way. Sometimes it's intuition. International tax works the same way. You can't analyze a CFC, a treaty position, or a global minimum tax exposure in isolation. Everything connects. AI cannot replace the reasoning required to see the full picture. AI operates like your Tesla autopilot. Regardless of how high-end the technology, driving is only part of your routine. International tax professionals still need to collaborate with operations, controllers, and CFOs to make decisions, and that's why this field remains deeply human. I can't predict what will happen in the next 10 years, but right now, AI reshaping tax does not mean replacing tax professionals. Once data is ready, once firms continue leading innovation, and once we use AI as a tool rather than a substitute for judgment, tax work will become more efficient, especially for those who dislike repetitive tasks. In my opinion, if there's one takeaway for any tax professional, it is to immerse yourself in the environment your business operates in. It helps you understand the complexity of the business, the people you work with, and the connection between real-world operations and the numbers in the books. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you for listening. I welcome your thoughts on this subject. And as always, feel free to subscribe if you like to learn more about international tax.